Welcome to Costco. I love you. Welcome to Costco. I love you. Welcome to Costco. I love you.
Hey YouTube, it is Veracity here. Today I'm going to be busting open the ridiculous nonsense Challenger disaster from... So first thing first here is we want to look at the explosion itself and how tiny it was. I'm going to go through some of the stats after we see this nonsense here. So this is the CNN report on it. You can see here how there's an explosion. You know, they're really zoomed in, so the explosion looks somewhat big, and the solid booster rockets just continue to, do what model rockets do. They fly into the air. And so what we're going to do is first focus on the size of this explosion right here. And then we're going to compare it to actual rocket disasters in history. So get a good look at how tiny this little explosion is. Just a little tiny, burst of cloud. Very tiny. And now what we're going to look at, is the 1965 Atlas Centaur 5 rocket. And look at this explosion size. Holy cow. Now that's an explosion from 1965. I mean, look at how big this blast is compared to the
In this case, there were
fake
no
shuttle.
human casualties.
I mean, look at how big
The
this blast
catastrophe was not the result of individual.
compared to this little tiny little thing. It's a little tiny little thing. It looks like a jet airplane contrail. This is not a giant explosion of 66,666 tons of fuel. So now that we've gone through this, I'm going to go through some of the actual specifications just to hammer this thing home for you people. Okay, so first off, what I wanted to tell everybody was that this tank here, was empty. Okay, so this thing would take off from the launch pad. The large external tank was actually completely empty, which is what you see in the CNN footage of the explosion. Nothing happened, basically. The thing was completely empty from takeoff. So just a couple interesting facts here. So you go to NASA's own, website, and they claim that the external tank's gross pound weight was 1,667,677. So 666,777 hidden in plain sight in the weight of this alleged thing. It's just complete nonsense. So basically, this huge tank here, was virtually empty when they took this thing off. So it would take off from the launch pad, and then they would ditch it into the ocean a couple miles away. So the entire Challenger, thing was staged and faked, right from the beginning. One quick little factoid here. This is the Krista Memorial. She was the first civilian that was supposed to go to space, and she allegedly died in the accident. And you load up your trusty Gematrinator, and you type in CHRISTA, boom, 33. There you go. Oh, but wait. There's more. There's a lot more. So you punch in, you skip the MIC, okay, and you type in AULIFFE, boom, 33. There you go. Number 2. Hint number 2. But wait, there's more. We're not done yet, guys. We're not done by a long shot. Let's load up the little trusty calculator here and zoom in on the date of September 2nd, 1948. That seems pretty innocuous, right? Well, let's type in 9 plus 2 plus 1 plus 9 plus 4 plus 8. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. 33, guys. 33, 33, 33, 33. Oh, brother. These people are ridiculous. I mean, I'm sure they never really thought, people were going to go through this in this kind of excruciating detail. But we are. So you can see Christa, okay, and then Christa died is 33, all life 33, and then her alleged birth date. And that's really the key of gematria. They would use birth dates, certain dates and things, certain words that would mean something in their numerology. So you don't have to be a complete expert. I'm not going to talk about this on who is running, these schemes, but let's just say do a Google search on gematria and look up who gematria is important to, and then you're going to be able to go down the rabbit hole and figure out who's responsible for all of this. It isn't really too much of a mystery, guys. But you will get your channel taken down instantly if you were to talk about it. I wonder who's in control of things. You just have to look to who you're not allowed to criticize to know who's running things. Okay, so in any case, you have this whole big nonsense tank here. And then another thing I just wanted to mention too, I went to Snopes to see what they're debunking of the fact that a bunch of the Challenger astronauts are still alive. And it's pretty funny because they say it's false here, right? But then they go through the Snopes loser New World Order guys. They go through this thing, and their argument that these people have the same name and that they aren't the same people. Okay, so it's one thing if you have the same name. Okay, I mean that can be a random coincidence, I suppose. But that you also look the same. What are the odds that you're going to have the same name and look the same? And the Snopes guys, I was hoping that the Snopes guys were going to refute that it was just a complete fabrication completely, but the Snopes guys admit that these people actually exist, and they do look, they show their pictures here, they do look super similar. It's just hilarious. And the other thing too is that the number of identical twins in society is about 1 in 335 or something. But the number of astronauts that have identical twins is 1 in 5. 1 in 3, 1 in 4, 1 in 5 at the maximum. And I'm being nice here. And then the Snopes guys just go through to say that these people are their brothers, so they have a resemblance, even though they use the same name. So this woman here, is literally using the same name. And they also look super similar. I mean, just age adjusted, basically. And the Snopes guys are just saying that it's a coincidence. I mean, people, if you're going to Snopes to learn any facts or anything, and again, I've said this on other videos that, and I never realized this, that the elite, they think that you're all dummies because you are all dummies. You're all dummies. So, I mean, Google isn't even going to, show my videos on the top, search, results or anything anyway. So I kind of apologize because the people watching my videos, have pretty much sought them out. I'm not being brought to them on a silver platter anyway, but I'm just talking about the general public. They think that the general public are dummies because they really are dummies. They're complete dummies. They're completely, snowed by all this stuff. It's really funny. So, but a lot of people are waking up. So Snopes completely NWO nonsense. Delete X out. Thank you very much. So in any case, there's another YouTuber guy who I won't even mention his name because it has negative connotations and it'll get your channel taken down. Always talks about how these hoaxes have Christ in it, or Ram, or Son, or Man, so there you go, Christ right here, Christ died, and Christ is in the name, and it's 33, 33, 33, pretty amazing stuff. Alright guys, and then I wanted to wrap this video up with a little analysis of ammonium perchlorate composite propellant. Okay, this is the stuff that's used in the little magic solid booster rockets, so right here, basically, this thing and this thing uses this chemical. And I'm just going to show you how ridiculous this is. So basically you can see here that, this chemical is used in solid propellant rockets, used in rocket vehicles, okay? It's used in aerospace, propulsion applications, and it's used in model rocketry applications, just like this one. It's the same technology, it's the same chemical. They're used in model rockets and they're used in the fake station launch vehicles. Basically, this portion of the rocket is empty. This tin can, just an empty canister, and this vehicle here is just ditched into the ocean. I think this thing probably floats. So what happens is when it gets ditched into the ocean, it floats, and they're able to connect it to a barge and bring it back and reuse the vehicle. I think that was the whole point. So the whole thing was reused. It's just that it was never going to space. I mean, that's the only missing part of the whole fake story. And then you can see that there's not any footage of the 5 minutes it takes to get to space. They never put a camera on this thing to record it going to space, ever. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like, why are you not putting a you could easily put a camera up here. You could put cameras up facing forward. They could put a camera up here. I mean, they could put cameras all over this thing, and all they had to do was put a camera on this huge container, or on the shuttle itself, and you'd be able to record the whole trip to space. But they never did it because it never happened. So the other thing I just want to point out, that these loser Mason guys like Harry Stein, as an example, he actually went to go work with Estes in model rocketry. So the guy worked for NASA and JPL, and he was also one of the founding founders of model rocketry, and he wrote science fiction books. So he wrote the Handbook of Model Rocketry. Here's his name right here, Harry Stein. And he also wrote, here's a picture of the guy. He wrote Earth Satellites and the Race for Space Superiority. So the guy writes Model Rocketry Handbook, and he also writes propaganda books like Earth Satellites and the Race for Space Superiority. And he was here listed as a rocket engineer for White Sands Proving Grounds. And he goes through the propaganda items here. Why is man-made satellites vital to America? It's also coded in red, yellow, and blue as well. It's got the coding, like everything that these faker liar guys do. It's got the coding. And then also he wrote books, many fiction books, like Man and the Space Frontier. He wrote tons and tons of fiction, just pure fiction books. So, I mean, it's all the same, just like William Shatner said, that science fiction and science are completely exactly identical. And it's just completely ridiculous anyway. So I just want to point out that these liar guys, have been involved with model rocketry. There's nothing different about the technology used to launch the, shuttle and stuff than these model rockets. I mean, this is like the same exact. It's just a bigger scaled version of a model rocket. So they put more of the ammonium perchlorate composite propellant, in these containers here, and this thing is empty. This whole container here is empty. It's not needed because that portion of the trip from 5 minutes to 15 minutes doesn't ever happen. So you don't need anything in this big container. It's just for show, and it also floats when it lands in the ocean, so that they can retrieve the vehicle and reuse it, and make the hoax less costly. And so basically these are just filled with the same chemicals that are used in this model rocket, and it uses the same exact technology, and it flies up into the air the same way, and they ditch it into the ocean, and that's that. So feel free, trolls, to refute any of this. It's all obviously, I've done plenty of videos on this topic, and it's totally irrefutable. And feel free to make comments and everything, but keep your comments respectful or you'll be banned from the channel permanently. Thanks very much, and also check out nwotracker.com, nwotracker.com. It links currently to my YouTube video, but I'm working on a compilation, and it will include supplemental information to my YouTube channel. Thanks very much for watching. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Yeah, and for those that stuck around, I just wanted to show you this crazy video I found when I was researching the Challenger thing. Check this thing out. This was a 1950s rocket test, and watch what this thing runs into. This is crazy. If you've never seen this before. Like, tell me this isn't hitting the firmament. Like, look at that. Like, it just dissolves into nothing. Look at that.
The immediate cause of the explosion,
I mean, you can see why these guys have to ditch the rockets into the ocean. Because if you go up high enough, you hit something. Because this thing got disintegrated. So I just wanted to share this with you guys. Little bonus footage. Thanks. Have a good one.
Welcome to Costco. I love you. Welcome to Costco. I love you. Welcome to Costco. I love you.